If elected sheriff, you're going to still see me on the road doing some things. You know, understandably, I can't always be out there doing that. I have the administrative side to do. I have all the paperwork and everything that goes along with that. And why Meeker County Sheriff? I didn't grow up here. I grew up on a hobby farm by Panock, West Wilmer, for those of you that don't know that. I fell in love with this community. About a year ago, I thought about moving to Florida. Once that got out, the community came to me and said, we can't lose you. You're a good cop. There's more potential in this county for you. So that's why I'm running for sheriff.
You know, when I first became a cop, someone would say, why are you a police officer? And it's a hard question to answer, really. Quite often, you'll hear the answer of, I want to be a helper. It goes way beyond being just a helper. It's an opportunity to help, of course. It's an opportunity to become active in your community, not by just through normal means that people get involved through their church, through a civic organization. It's through the opportunity to shape the community in some form through your position as a law enforcement officer, to lend your ideas on how to help people stay safe in their homes, to stay safe in their daily activities. As a sheriff, I'd like to continue that community reach, being active in community, being involved in the goings-on, not only in Litchfield anymore, but as the county for a whole. There's many other activities other than Pie in the Park and Central Park on Thursday nights, or Watercade, or other things. Yes, I've been a little bit limited to some of that because of where I work, where I live. As most of you, you don't attend as many things in other communities because of where you live or your geographical situation. However, as a sheriff, that through work, I would be able to give back to the community so much more, to make your lives on a whole a lot better. And I would hope that you would be able to give me that opportunity.
I spent 11.5 years. Spent 11.5 years as chief of police in Sacred Heart. There was no place to go. I left Sacred Heart to come to Meeker County for advancement for a bigger department, and I definitely found it. Excuse me. When I came in, 1 second. And there goes my time. When I came here in 2002, within the first year, I took on a K-9. I spent 8 years with a K-9. In 2003, I started as a supervisor for the volunteer reserves. In 2004, I also took on the posse, the mounted posse, as a supervisor. In 2007, I started with the DARE program, and I currently still teach the DARE program. In 2009, I was promoted to the position of captain. I have 16 plus years of supervisory experience. I feel that I'm the best for the sheriff's position. And I feel that I am also very community-minded. I am active in a number of different organizations. I not only sit on the Thriving Board, Humane Society Board. I work with different youth programs. I'm on the fire department. I feel that I am the best for this position. I want to thank everybody for coming.
I think mine starts back to when I was born. I was.
You look at the way.
John, you can mess with mine. Anyway, I was raised in a very unique situation. I have 10 other sheriffs that I grew up with. That means I have 10 brothers. So the pecking order was established every day. You built yourself up. It's like the song Boy Named Sue. You built yourself up. This is something that was established from day one, is that the true leadership rises from the get-go. It was touched on earlier as I think it was John Wayne had touched on, is that some of the issues that we see today are from the family. They're established from the get-go as the lack of attention there, or the lack of participation of whether it's us or social services or probation or something that can help these families out in that situation. I think with that, just the base of that, I've established my first 18 years, you had to be a leader. To be able to get through I'm not saying that I grew up really rough, I didn't get shot at or anything like that. But with that many brothers, you do, in that kind of family setting, is that you do have to stand up for yourself. As your sheriff, I will take that as this is part of my family. Currently with my wife and 6 children where I reside up in Watkins, I would welcome everybody as my family member and hope that you can approach me at that point. I believe a sheriff, which I will bring that civic-minded mindset, is that for the last 17 years, I've dedicated myself to being part of the Watkins AMOS service. We have a group of about 18 people that go on almost between 350 and 400 calls a year voluntarily. I believe that is something that should set an example, like the rest of these guys do commit to their communities, but on a whole basis that this could be the whole county-wide. Also, what I do for the city of Litchfield as a police officer, but I want to take that to the rest of the residents, the citizens, and create that family atmosphere that we can have the best law enforcement with my type of leadership. Thanks for everybody coming.
First off, I'd like to again thank you all for coming tonight. Like I said earlier, I think this is an important step in determining our next sheriff. The reason I'm running for sheriff is I want to bring my education, my life and work experiences, my business background, and my ability to lead to the people of Meeker County. I've been a Meeker County deputy for 20 years, and I've dedicated my career to making Meeker County as safe as I possibly can, and I would like to continue that as your next sheriff. Like I talked about earlier, one of the questions I was asked, I do have a business background, and I think it's important that our sheriff has that background. I think in government, we kind of get away from what reality is, and sometimes we think, well, there's free money, or there's grant money, or we can do this, or we can do that. The reality is that that's your money. There is no free money. The grant money is your money. And we need somebody who's responsible and can look at it that way. I do have that business background, and I will bring that to the sheriff's office, and that's an important aspect of it. The leadership aspect is really important too. And I've been in many positions where I've had to be a leader throughout my career. On the task force, you are a leader or you are a manager of your case when you're a lead investigator. You deal with employees, but I don't have the authority to do what a boss would. So I need to find out different ways to deal with people and lead them and make them good employees or good co-investigators on my case. Along with that, if you can be a good leader and you have a good department, that reflects with our community. If people are skeptical of the sheriff's office or they have some questions about the sheriff's office, that's a downfall that we have. I've run into people who said, I do not want to call the sheriff's office when I need to call for help, and that's too bad. And we need to change that image. And I think a good, strong leader that includes everybody in our community can do that. I also have that 4-year degree in criminal justice, and not to put anybody else's degree down, but I did spend that extra time at the university to learn a few more things. And as I reflect back on that, a lot of what we were instructed on had to do with community policing. And that goes to the core of what I believe. I believe that you, as a community, are an integral part of this sheriff's office. You need to have input, and you need to be a part of what we bring to you. And I will bring all of that if you let me your next sheriff.
First off, I want to thank the Greater Litchfield Opera House and Greg for helping host this event. I do want to touch on a couple points. I mentioned before I have 30 years of experience. That's also 30 years of life experiences. I started off in a small agency. It was a 3-man department, sheriff and 2 deputies. You were all by yourself quite often. You had to make decisions on your own, and hopefully it was the correct decision. There was nobody to ask. Later, I became an investigator. Same thing. You're making decisions constantly. Things change, evolve as you're working a case. You got to keep an open mind. You need to come to a conclusion with it. Hopefully, be able to present it to the county attorney for prosecution, you gotta keep thinking all the time. I'm not your typical candidate per se. I've heard a couple of them talk about different organizations they belong to. I don't belong to a lot of organizations. I belong to my church. That's one of the few things I do. I love to hunt and fish. I spend time with my family. That's probably what I'm doing most of the time. What I am, though, is a hard, honest, hard-working person. I don't sugarcoat things. I will call a spade a spade. You might not like it, but I'm not going to go and blow smoke and try to go and make you feel good and think that you know, I'm going to make things all better. If it's something that we can't fix, I will tell you. And I will try to help you for the best course of action, what you need to do next. What I will promise you is I will always try to do my best for you. I want to go and promote cooperation between our various departments, both the state, federal, and local levels. The ultimate winner in this would be you. You know, you're the one that we need to be serving, the citizens of Meeker County. I also want to go and I want to lead by example, because you know, we want to mold people into good deputies. I want to be able to show them and possibly pass on some of the traits I've learned over the years. I've worked for 3 different departments. It's been 5 different sheriffs, 5 different chief deputies. You learn a little bit from each one of them. Some good, some bad. You know, you see things that maybe they did that was maybe not the best course of action. You probably don't do that. You learn from their mistakes. You try to make things the best you can possibly do, and you have the best department you can possibly make. Thank you.
Let me conclude by making a few points. Number one, I'd like to thank my good friend Dean Erdahl for coming back from lunch early to get in at the end of this meeting. He has arrived. Probably selling his books. I was drunk after the meeting was over. Number two, I'd like to thank you, the audience. You were absolutely splendid tonight, and I think this is evidence that town hall meetings are still relevant. You showed up, you were patient, you gave these people the opportunity to express themselves without interruption. I commend you for that. And finally, I'd like to thank the candidates for their participation and their willingness to stay within the time constraints, which sometimes is very difficult. Remember, the election is the 12th, the primary. I'm sure that you people will fill out and vote and encourage your friends to do that too. If you want to make a contribution to the Opera Society and this beautiful structure and the restoration of it, I think they're taking donations afterwards outside the building. Thank you very much for showing up.